My neighbor agreed to pretend to be my girlfriend, she said. You owe me more than one kiss. The city was alive with colors and sounds, a mix of old-world charm and high-tech wonders. Everywhere he looked, screens floated midair, showing the latest news, advertisements, or holographic messages from friends. Despite all the activity, Ethan felt invisible. He nibbled on the edge of his synth-bread sandwich, eyes glued to his tablet. Another notification popped up. Social anxiety level, moderate. Recommended interaction, 0. Ethan groaned. Even the AI thought he needed a break from people. Ethan's life had always been like this, quiet, predictable, and a little lonely. He liked it that way. Talking to people, making friends, even small interactions, made his chest tight and thoughts tangle. He had friends online, sure, but in real life he froze. His classmates didn't mean any harm, they were just fast, confident, loud, everything he was not. Hey, Ethan, the voice made him jump. It was Leora, his next-door neighbor and one of the few people who made his heart race in a different way, not from fear but from curiosity. She had the kind of smile that lit up a room, messy chestnut hair that refused to stay in place, and eyes that always seemed to be planning the next playful trick. Hi, Leora, Ethan muttered, fumbling with his tablet. You look serious, she said, leaning against the table, one eyebrow raised. What's going on in that brain of yours? Calculating the trajectory of a flying car? No, just thinking, he mumbled. Leora plopped down across from him, resting her chin on her hands. Thinking can be dangerous. People might see you thinking and assume you're interesting. Ethan blinked. Interesting isn't that good. Depends, Leora said, grinning. If you're thinking alone, it's probably fine, but if you're thinking about people, it can get messy. Ethan felt a familiar warmth spread across his cheeks. Leora had that effect on him. She could turn the most normal day into something slightly magical or slightly terrifying. Their conversation was interrupted by a group of classmates passing by. One of them, Derek, smirked at Ethan and whispered something loud enough for everyone nearby to hear. Look, the loner thinks he's taken or something. Ethan froze. Heat rushed to his face. He could feel the eyes of strangers, the subtle laughter of classmates. His mind scrambled for a solution. Why today? Why now? Leora leaned closer, her voice barely above a whisper. You need a plan, fast. What kind of plan? Ethan asked, panic creeping into his voice. Leora's grin widened. A girlfriend plan. You pretend I'm your girlfriend for a week. It'll save your reputation. Ethan's eyes widened. Pretend your girlfriend. Yes, it's simple. You say we're dating, act casual, and boom, you're saved from humiliation. Easy. I can't do that, Ethan stammered. People will notice. It'll be obvious. I'm not good at pretending. Leora leaned back and crossed her arms, her grin never fading. That's the fun part. You owe me more than one kiss if you say no. Ethan's stomach dropped. Kiss. Leora laughed, a melodic sound that made him forget his panic for a moment. Relax, I mean it in a playful way, a joke, sort of, but you do owe me. Ethan shook his head, but Leora wasn't giving him an out. She had that way of looking at him like she already knew he couldn't refuse. Fine, Ethan muttered finally, defeat and nervous excitement mixing in his chest. We'll pretend, but just for a week. That's the spirit, Leora cheered, standing and clapping her hands. Week-long mission, save Ethan's reputation. Code name, Operation Pretend Girlfriend. Ethan groaned, already regretting the agreement but also strangely intrigued. The next day at school, the pretend girlfriend plan was in full effect. Leora walked with him through the bustling corridors, her arm brushing against his occasionally, always just enough to make him aware of her presence. Whispers followed them, glances measured them, and Ethan felt like a completely different person. To his surprise, it wasn't as terrifying as he had feared. Leora had a way of drawing attention to herself first, her jokes, her antics, so that Ethan could follow behind, almost invisible but somehow supported. It was like walking with a safety net made of laughter and confidence. See, Leora said, nudging him. People think we're a couple, and you're surviving. I guess, Ethan replied, still adjusting to the strange new feeling of being noticed. Throughout the day, small interactions tested their partnership. In the cafeteria, she teased him about his choice of synthetic juice. In the tech lab, she made sure he got credit for his quick coding solution, subtly highlighting his skills. Slowly, Ethan began to realize that pretending to be someone else didn't mean losing himself. It meant learning new ways to show who he was, without fear. By evening, they were sitting on the rooftop of Leora's apartment building, looking out at the city lights. Hovercars streaked by like fireflies, and the soft hum of energy panels filled the air. "You did well today," Leora said, tossing a small snack into her mouth. "You're better at this than you think." Ethan frowned. "Pretending to be your boyfriend doesn't feel real." "It's awkward." "Awkward can be fun," Leora said, her eyes twinkling. "Besides, it's only a week, but sometimes pretending can show you things you didn't know about yourself." Ethan considered her words. He realized she was right. The plan, ridiculous as it seemed, was giving him experiences he would never have had otherwise. He was learning to be brave in small ways, to trust his instincts, and even to laugh. "And the kiss debt?" he asked cautiously, trying to lighten the mood. Leora laughed again, the sound carrying across the rooftops. "One kiss. If that's just a symbol, you'll know when the time comes." Ethan didn't know what that meant, but he trusted her in a strange, exciting way. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of violet and gold, Ethan realized something he hadn't felt before: anticipation. The week ahead was uncertain, full of social hurdles, playful teasing, and maybe even moments that could change him forever. But with Leora by his side, even in pretend, he felt ready to step out of the shadows and into the light. And somehow, he thought, maybe pretending could lead to something real after all. The morning sun spilled golden light across Neo-Arden, reflecting off the sleek glass buildings and floating billboards. Ethan adjusted his glasses nervously as he stepped outside his apartment. Today was another pretend girlfriend day, and although the first day had gone surprisingly well, the idea of continuing still made him anxious. He spotted Leora leaning casually against the side of her building, arms crossed and a mischievous smile on her face. "Finally decided to show up, Mr. Invisible," she teased, her tone playful but not mean. I was just getting ready," Ethan mumbled. He always felt flustered around her, even when they weren't pretending. Leora laughed. "Ready or not, we're going to school. And remember, this week people think we're together. Act like a couple, keep your cool, and don't freeze. Got it?" Ethan nodded. "Got it," he trailed off, wishing he had more confidence. At school, the plan quickly proved challenging. Leora linked her arm through his and whispered, "Smile. Not too fake, just casual." Ethan tried, producing a stiff grin. Leora giggled. "Almost there. You'll get the hang of it." Passing through the corridors, students looked at them curiously. Some whispered, some smiled knowingly, and a few skeptics raised eyebrows. Ethan felt exposed, like a holographic image of himself had been projected for everyone to see. But Leora's presence made it bearable. Somehow, when she was around, he felt like he had a guide for navigating the strange social world. During first period, the teacher announced a surprise group assignment. Students were to form teams for the citywide Neo-Innovation Challenge, a friendly contest testing creativity, problem-solving, and teamwork. Leora whispered, "This is perfect. We can enter as a duo, pretend couple power." Ethan gulped. "Enter with you." "Of course," she said with confidence. "Trust me. Humans beat AI all the time when thinking outside the box. That's our advantage." Ethan was skeptical. The school was full of students with AI assistants helping them in every task. He wasn't sure how they would compete. But Leora's enthusiasm was contagious. The duo spent lunch in the Hover Cafe near school discussing their strategy. Leora pulled out a tablet and sketched ideas rapidly. "Okay, we need something original. Humans are creative. Machines are smart but predictable. We'll combine your coding skills with my design ideas and boom, unstoppable. Ethan raised an eyebrow. You really think we can win? Not just win, Leora said firmly, but impress. Show them that being human has its perks. Ethan felt a spark of confidence. For the first time, he considered the possibility that his talents, usually unnoticed, could actually matter. The afternoon challenge began. Teams gathered in the large school atrium, buzzing with excitement. Hover drones floated overhead, recording progress. Each team was given the same materials: basic robotics kits, digital sensors, and small energy cells. The goal was simple: create a device that could solve a real-world problem in a creative, efficient way. Ethan and Leora huddled together, whispering ideas. Leora suggested, let's make a small delivery drone that doesn't just follow a path but thinks about people's needs, like human-aware delivery. Ethan's eyes lit up. Human-aware? Yes, Leora said. It can detect obstacles, avoid crowds, and even suggest friendly greetings while delivering. People love friendly interactions. AI doesn't get that. Humans do. They worked tirelessly, combining Ethan's coding with Leora's design. The drone began to take shape, small, nimble, and strangely charming in its movements. It could navigate the crowded atrium, deliver a package to a person, and even display a smiley face hologram when approaching its destination. Other teams relied on AI optimization, programming their drones to move quickly and efficiently, but many lacked personality. Ethan realized that the human touch, the small creative details, the attention to emotion, was something machines couldn't replicate. By the end of the day, all teams demonstrated their projects. Most drones completed tasks efficiently but mechanically. Ethan and Leora's drone moved carefully, pausing to avoid bumping into people, waving its tiny mechanical hands, and even alerting humans politely when passing close. The judges, impressed, praised their originality. This team considered the human element, one judge said. It's clever, intuitive, and thoughtful. Excellent work. Ethan felt a rush of pride. For once, his skills, paired with creativity and empathy, were recognized. Leora nudged him and whispered, "See, humans win when we use our brains and hearts." After school, the two of them walked through the glowing streets, the neon lights reflecting in puddles from the morning mist. Leora skipped ahead, then turned back to Ethan with a teasing smile. "You did great today. I'm impressed. Who knew you had that spark inside?" Ethan felt a warmth he couldn't name. I just followed your ideas." "You followed your own ideas too," Leora said softly. "I just helped you notice them." Ethan felt his heart beat faster, noticing how close she was. He thought about the kiss debt joke from earlier and felt both nervous and curious. They paused at the edge of the hover bridge, watching vehicles float by beneath them. Leora leaned against the railing, arms crossed, but her expression was thoughtful. "Pretending to be my boyfriend, you're doing more than just pretending, Ethan. People see you in a new light. You're not invisible anymore." Ethan looked down, unsure how to respond. I'm trying," he said quietly. "You're doing fine," she reassured him. "And who knows? Pretending can sometimes teach you what you're really capable of." The next morning, the pretend relationship became a bit easier. They walked to school with more confidence, occasionally joking and teasing each other. Ethan found himself smiling more naturally, enjoying the playful back and forth with Leora. During science class, Leora nudged him when the teacher discussed human creativity versus AI computation. "Perfect example for our week," she whispered. "Humans can improvise. We can adapt. Machines can't. Remember that when the challenge continues." Ethan nodded, feeling a surge of determination. The pretend act was becoming real in unexpected ways. It allowed him to see his own value, his own intelligence, and his own ability to connect. By the end of the day, a small group of classmates approached them. Some were curious, some teasing, but all seemed impressed by the teamwork between Ethan and Leora. One girl asked, "You two, really a couple?" Ethan felt his stomach twist. He opened his mouth to deny it, but Leora gently squeezed his arm. "We're trying something new," she said with a smile. The girl nodded and smiled back. "Cool, you make a good team." After they walked away, Ethan let out a small sigh of relief. Leora chuckled. "See, pretending isn't so bad when people notice your worth." That evening, they returned to Leora's rooftop. The city lights twinkled like stars below them, a sea of soft neon hues. Leora tossed a small packet of snacks at Ethan. "Reward for surviving day 2 of Operation Pretend Girlfriend." Ethan caught it and laughed softly. "Reward accepted." Leora sat next to him, legs dangling over the edge. "You know," she said, "I didn't expect this week to be so fun. Pretending, teaching you confidence, solving challenges, it's like we're adventurers." Ethan smiled, feeling warmth spread through him. "Adventurers, huh?" "Yeah, humans against the predictable, us against the ordinary," Leora said. "I like that we're discovering what people can do when we just try." Ethan thought about their drone, the praise from judges, the teasing classmates, and Leora's encouraging words. For the first time, he realized something important. Pretending had opened a door to real growth. He wasn't just hiding behind Leora's confidence, he was learning to trust his own. "And the kiss debt?" he asked nervously, trying to break the thoughtful silence. Leora laughed, leaning back on her hands. "One kiss. That's symbolic. Maybe more, maybe later, you'll see. For now, just enjoy learning about yourself." Ethan chuckled, feeling lighter than he had in years. Pretending was supposed to be awkward and embarrassing, but instead, it was teaching him lessons he never imagined. Courage, creativity, empathy, and the strange, wonderful feeling of being noticed for who he really was. The night air was cool, but Ethan didn't feel cold. He felt alive, curious, and ready for whatever the week, and Leora, had in store. The morning air in Neoarden was cool and crisp, carrying the faint hum of hovering vehicles and distant chatter from street vendors. Ethan walked beside Leora, his thoughts tangled with anticipation and worry. Today was the start of the Neo Innovation Challenge Finals, the big citywide event where schools competed in inventive projects designed to test creativity, problem-solving, and teamwork. Leora hummed with excitement, her arms swinging as they navigated the bustling streets. "Today's the big day. Are you ready to show everyone that humans can outsmart even the fanciest AI teams?" Ethan swallowed nervously. I hope we can. There's so many people and AI assistants, it feels overwhelming." Leora stopped and turned to him, her hands on his shoulders. "Listen, Ethan, it's not about them, it's about us. We have brains, creativity, and empathy. Machines can calculate faster, but they can't think like humans. That's our edge." Ethan nodded slowly, trying to feel the confidence in her words. Leora had a way of making impossible things seem possible. When they arrived at the city's Central Innovation Dome, Ethan's jaw dropped. The building was enormous, a translucent dome with swirling lights inside. Hundreds of students and AI assistants filled the space, all busy preparing projects. Hover drones zipped overhead, projecting holographic displays of team statistics and previous winners. Leora grabbed Ethan's hand and tugged him forward. "Come on. Don't let the size scare you. We just need to focus on our project and our teamwork." They were assigned a small workspace near the center, with a few workstations, floating toolkits, and interactive holographic panels. Their drone from the school competition was already there, ready for upgrades. The first challenge of the day was announced. Teams had to solve a real-world problem using limited materials. The catch: every team had the same tools, but the judges would award points for creativity, efficiency, and human-centric solutions. Ethan's heart pounded. He glanced at other teams and saw robots zooming through their tests, AI programs analyzing problems in milliseconds. "We're so outclassed," he muttered. Leora crouched next to him. "Outclassed, maybe, but not unbeatable," Remember what we did before. Think human, act smart, be clever. Let's do this. Their problem was simple in description but complex in execution. Design a small transport device that could deliver supplies to people in difficult urban environments. Other teams immediately began programming their drones for speed and precision. Ethan and Leora looked at each other, considering their human advantage. "What if," Leora whispered, "we design a drone that doesn't just deliver supplies, but interacts with people? Encourages them, asks questions, makes them smile." Ethan's eyes lit up. "Yes, people respond better to attention and empathy. Machines can't genuinely care." They got to work. Ethan wrote quick lines of code to detect human presence, recognize gestures, and deliver small, friendly messages. Leora designed a small holographic interface to display expressions, icons, and encouraging words. Together, their drone became not just functional but charming. It could navigate tricky areas while responding to human emotions in real time. As they worked, unexpected obstacles appeared. A competitor's AI drone malfunctioned nearby, spilling parts across the workspace. The judges' monitors flickered, showing warnings about potential hazards. Most teams panicked, relying on automated fixes. Ethan froze for a moment, watching the chaos. Leora grabbed his hand. "Focus, Ethan. Think like a human. We adapt, we improvise, we keep going." Taking a deep breath, Ethan analyzed the situation. "If we adjust the sensors to avoid crowded areas, we can navigate better than those drones." He quickly rewrote a section of code. Leora rearranged part of the drone's interface to make it lighter and more agile. When the judges tested their drone, it moved smoothly through the crowded dome, avoiding obstacles, interacting with participants, and even delivering a small medical kit to a volunteer, pausing to give a holographic smile. The judges murmured appreciatively. "Interesting. Human-centered design with clever problem-solving. This team thinks differently." Ethan felt a rush of pride. They weren't the fastest, but they were creative, intuitive, and humane, exactly what made humans extraordinary. By afternoon, the challenges grew harder. Teams were asked to adapt their drones for dynamic environments, moving platforms, unpredictable obstacles, and varying terrain. Many competitors struggled to recalibrate. Their drones either froze or collided with obstacles. Ethan and Leora huddled together. "We need flexibility," Leora said. "AI can't adapt quickly to unpredictability." "We can," Ethan nodded. "I can program reactive responses based on human-style decision-making instead of pure calculation." Hours passed. Sweat dripped down Ethan's forehead as he typed furiously, while Leora adjusted their drone's sensors and interface. Slowly, their creation moved with grace and intelligence, weaving through obstacles and performing deliveries with a human touch. One small girl reached out for a dropped item. The drone paused, lifted it gently, and handed it back, holographic eyes blinking in a friendly pattern. Leora whispered, "See, humans can do this because we notice details AI misses." By evening, the final test was announced: a simulated city rescue mission. Teams had to deliver supplies to virtual neighborhoods while navigating unforeseen hazards, fallen bridges, crowded streets, and sudden energy shortages. The AI teams calculated paths, adjusted speed, and tried to optimize efficiency. Ethan and Leora relied on intuition, empathy, and quick human judgment. At first, Ethan felt nervous, watching their drone move cautiously while AI drones zoomed past. But then he noticed something important: the AI drones missed human cues. They ignored volunteers who needed guidance, bypassed obstacles that weren't strictly in their path, and lacked charm. Ethan whispered to Leora, "We can beat them by caring." Leora smiled. "Exactly. Human advantage. We notice, we feel, we adapt." The duo's drone paused at each obstacle, communicated with virtual residents, and adjusted its path to avoid unnecessary stress. It wasn't the fastest, but it was thoughtful, precise, and engaging. Judges watched intently, nodding as they recorded scores. When the mission ended, Ethan and Leora stepped back. Their drone had finished with 0 mistakes, maximum human interaction, and a surprisingly high efficiency rating. Several AI teams had failed, their drones stuck or malfunctioning. The judges approached. "Remarkable," one said. "Your project shows the strength of human problem solving. Machines can calculate, but humans can understand and adapt. You've demonstrated ingenuity, creativity, and empathy." Ethan's chest swelled. Leora winked at him. "See, pretending isn't just about appearances. Humans shine when we think, feel, and create together." Walking home after the long day, Neoarden's neon lights seemed brighter than ever. Ethan felt a mixture of exhaustion and exhilaration. "I can't believe we actually did it," he said softly. "You did it," Leora corrected, nudging him playfully. "We did it together. And the best part, you didn't freeze, you didn't hide, and you showed everyone that humans can do things machines can't." Ethan smiled. He realized something profound. The challenges weren't just about drones or competitions. They were about discovering what he was capable of. Courage, intelligence, empathy, and creativity were his strengths, not weaknesses. Leora stopped and looked at him seriously. "Ethan, you've changed. You're braver, smarter, and more confident than last week. Pretending to be my boyfriend isn't what helped you, it's you. You're discovering your own abilities." Ethan felt warmth spread through him. "Thanks for helping me see that." Leora grinned, teasing again. "And don't forget the kiss debt. You still owe me more than one, remember?" Ethan laughed nervously. I haven't forgotten." She leaned on his shoulder, walking side by side. "You don't have to worry. The week isn't over. But whatever happens, I think we make a pretty good team, pretend or not." Ethan looked at her, heart full, realizing that this pretend romance had taught him more than he ever expected. It wasn't about faking affection. It was about trust, teamwork, and believing in his own human potential. As they reached the apartment building, the city lights reflected in their eyes, Ethan felt a surge of anticipation. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, more opportunities to shine, and perhaps a chance to discover what his heart truly wanted. For the first time in his life, he felt ready, not hiding behind Leora, not pretending, but standing side by side with her, fully himself. And maybe, just maybe, the kiss debt wasn't just a joke. It was the start of something more. The sun rose over Neoarden, spilling soft light across the skyline. Ethan woke with a mixture of excitement and nerves buzzing in his chest. Today was the final day of the Neo Innovation Challenge, and the stakes felt higher than ever. The challenges were no longer simple tests of skill. They were opportunities to showcase human creativity and heart, and the pressure weighed on him. Leora was already up, stretching on her balcony. "Morning, genius," she said brightly. "Ready to finish what we started?" Ethan rubbed his eyes and nodded. I think so. But what if we make a mistake? What if the AI teams are just better?" Leora smiled, her voice calm but confident. "Mistakes happen. Humans adapt. AI follows rules. We have intuition, empathy, and imagination. Remember that. That's our advantage." Ethan took a deep breath. Leora's words always had a way of grounding him, reminding him that human ability wasn't just about speed or power. It was about creativity, understanding, and connection. When they arrived at the Innovation Dome, the atmosphere was electric. Teams bustled about, hovering drones zipped through the air, and holographic screens displayed previous days' scores. The final challenge had been announced the night before: solve a complex urban problem using teamwork, innovation, and human-first thinking. Ethan's stomach tightened. Unlike earlier rounds, this wasn't just about technology. It was about morals, empathy, and clever solutions. The judges explained the scenario. A small city section had been locked down in the simulation due to unexpected hazards. Teams needed to deliver supplies, guide citizens safely, and ensure efficiency. Points would be awarded not only for speed but for creativity, adaptability, and human-centric problem-solving. Ethan swallowed nervously. "It's complicated," he whispered to Leora. "That's the point," she said, nudging him. "Complexity shows human brilliance. Let's show them ours." The first few hours were intense. AI teams executed perfectly calculated paths, delivering supplies at lightning speed. Their drones were flawless, precise, and methodical. But they lacked flexibility. When unexpected obstacles appeared, some drones froze. Others miscalculated and collided with barriers, costing points. Ethan and Leora, however, adapted. Their drone paused at hazards, analyzed surroundings with human-like intuition, and adjusted its path creatively. It could read the environment in ways AI could not, avoiding bottlenecks and helping simulated citizens navigate safely. At one point, a malfunctioning AI drone blocked their path, threatening to delay delivery. Ethan quickly analyzed the situation, eyes scanning for a solution. "If we go over the side ramp and loop around the bridge, we can avoid collision," he said. Leora nodded and guided the drone manually through the alternate path. The maneuver worked perfectly. The judges whispered among themselves, impressed with the human foresight. Leora leaned toward Ethan and whispered, "See, humans aren't just smart, we're creative. We improvise." By midday, the unexpected challenges intensified. The judges introduced a moral dilemma. A simulated citizen needed medical supplies, but delivering them would slow down the overall mission. Teams had to decide between efficiency and compassion. Many AI teams opted for efficiency, maximizing points. Ethan hesitated. We can't ignore that person," he said softly. "We need to help them." Leora's eyes shone. "Exactly, that's what humans do. Think about people, not just numbers." Together, they rerouted their drone to deliver the medical kit, slowing their progress slightly. The drone paused to talk to the simulated citizen, offering encouragement and information. It was slower than some teams, but the human touch was undeniable. The judges' faces lit up. "Remarkable," one said. "This team demonstrates moral reasoning, empathy, and practical problem-solving. They understand humans, not just technology." Ethan felt a surge of pride. For the first time, he understood that human ingenuity wasn't just about solving problems. It was about understanding people, adapting, and caring. In the afternoon, a new twist was introduced. A rival AI team attempted to claim credit for a human-designed solution left unattended in the workspace. Ethan noticed it immediately. Leora's gaze met his, and they shared an unspoken understanding. "We need to act," Leora said quietly, "but without confrontation. Let us be clever." Ethan thought quickly. He uploaded their drone's activity logs to the judge's central display, showing step-by-step contributions, coding sequences, and design modifications. The AI team couldn't argue, the evidence was clear. The judges nodded appreciatively. Transparency and integrity well demonstrated. Humans solve problems honestly and creatively. Ethan exhaled. Leora smiled. "See, even honesty can be an advantage. Humans think beyond rules." By evening, the final assessment began. Judges tested every drone in a fully simulated city, with unpredictable scenarios, moving obstacles, and dynamic citizens. Ethan and Leora's drone navigated with grace, stopping to interact with citizens, rerouting around hazards, and adapting to every surprise. Other teams' drones performed perfectly at first, but when faced with moral or human-centric problems, they faltered. Some couldn't adapt, others ignored citizens in favor of speed. Ethan and Leora's human-first approach made their drone excel in ways machines could not. The crowd noticed. Students whispered, "Did you see that? Their drone actually talks to people. Humans are amazing." Ethan's heart raced, but he felt steady with Leora at his side. They had done more than compete. They had demonstrated the power of human thought, empathy, and collaboration. After the final tests, the judges approached all teams. We have witnessed incredible talent, but one team has shown something extraordinary. Not only did they solve problems, but they demonstrated ingenuity, morality, and empathy, the true human advantage. The announcement left Ethan breathless. Leora's eyes sparkled as the judges named their team as the winners. "You did it, Ethan," she whispered. "You've proven it. Humans shine when we think, feel, and care." Ethan blushed but smiled. "We did it together." Leora laughed, leaning against him. "And look at that. You didn't freeze, you didn't hide, and you even impressed the judges with your moral choices. I knew you had it in you." Ethan realized something profound. Pretending to be her boyfriend had brought him out of his shell, yes, but the real growth came from discovering his own abilities, courage, and humanity. After the award ceremony, they walked home through Neo-Arden's glowing streets. Leora's hand brushed against his occasionally, playful and light. "I have to admit," she said, teasing, "the whole kiss det thing was fun, but I like seeing the real you even more." Ethan laughed nervously. I never expected this week to be like this. I feel confident." "Happy? You should," Leora said warmly. "Humans can do amazing things, you're proof." They paused at a small overlook, gazing at the city. Hovercars reflected the neon lights like tiny fireflies. Ethan realized that the week's challenges, pretend or not, had shown him the beauty of human ingenuity, creativity, and heart. "And the kiss det?" he asked, unable to resist. Leora smirked, nudging him playfully. "One kiss. That's symbolic, maybe more later. For now, enjoy the moment." Ethan chuckled, feeling a warmth that had nothing to do with the sun. Pretending had led to real lessons: teamwork, courage, moral judgment, and human brilliance. He wasn't invisible anymore. He was seen. And with Leora by his side, he knew the final day was only the beginning of their real journey. The city of Neo-Arden shimmered in the early evening light, a mixture of neon reflections and soft amber glow. Ethan and Leora walked through the streets, their steps light despite the long week. The Neo Innovation Challenge was over, the final ceremony complete, and their team had won. But more than the trophies and the praise, Ethan felt a new kind of achievement: confidence, connection, and understanding of his own abilities. "You know," Leora said, nudging him gently, "I think this week has been more than I expected." Ethan smiled, his nerves replaced by a calm warmth. "Yeah, me too. I didn't know I could do all this." Leora laughed softly. "That's the magic of humans. We surprise ourselves when we try." Ethan nodded. He thought back to the challenges: the drones, the moral decisions, the AI competitors, and the way Leora always encouraged him to trust himself. Pretending to be her boyfriend had started as a joke, a solution to a misunderstanding. But now, it felt like the doorway to a real transformation. They found a quiet rooftop to sit on, the city sprawling below like a living painting. Hovercars traced arcs of light through the streets, and distant music from the hover cafes drifted upward. Leora leaned back, her eyes reflecting the neon skyline. "You've grown a lot, Ethan," she said, her voice softer now. "I mean it. You've faced the challenges, adapted, and, well, you impress me too." Ethan felt his cheeks warm. "I couldn't have done it without you." "Maybe," Leora said, nudging him playfully, "but mostly you. I just reminded you what you were capable of." He smiled, realizing it was true. Pretending had given him the push, but the real victory came from himself. He had thought of solutions, made moral choices, and solved problems in ways no AI could. That was human brilliance: intuition, empathy, creativity, and courage. As they talked, Ethan noticed a small group of classmates approaching. They weren't teasing this time. They were smiling, holding out holographic screens showing congratulatory messages. "You really showed everyone what humans can do," one of them said. "Not just the AI teams, but everyone. Your ideas, they were amazing." Ethan blinked in surprise, realizing he had earned respect, not just from the judges or teachers, but from peers. It was a strange, wonderful feeling, being noticed for who he truly was, not just hiding behind Leora or technology. Leora's hand brushed his again. See, humans can shine in ways machines can't. That includes you, Ethan. He nodded, heart swelling. The week had started as a pretend act, but now it felt real. He felt brave, capable, and connected. They spent the evening walking through Neo-Arden's glowing streets. Leora pointed out small details. The way a street performer coordinated with a drone to entertain children, the gentle hum of hovercars syncing perfectly with city lights, the way people smiled at each other. All these little things, she said, humans notice them. Machines might calculate efficiency, but they can't appreciate the moment. That's why we're special. Ethan looked around, really looking this time. He realized she was right. The city was full of wonder, small acts of kindness, and creativity that only humans could produce. He had spent so long hiding, fearing interaction, and now he saw that people, and humans in general, were capable of so much more than he had imagined. Later, they reached the quiet park near Leora's building. Soft lights hung from trees, illuminating walking paths and benches. Leora sat down on a bench, patting the space beside her. Ethan sat, feeling the comfort of her presence. "So, about the kiss debt," Leora said, a playful smirk on her face. "You remember that?" Ethan laughed nervously. "I haven't forgotten." She tilted her head, studying him. "You know, it wasn't really about the kiss. That was a joke, a symbol. The week was never about pretending affection, it was about seeing your potential. You've learned, you've grown, and I've enjoyed seeing the real you." Ethan looked down, unsure how to respond. I think I understand now. Pretending it helped me, but the lessons were real. It wasn't fake." "Exactly," Leora said, smiling warmly. "Humans shine when we face challenges, care about others, and trust ourselves. You've done all that." The two of them sat in silence for a while, watching the soft glow of Neo-Arden city lights. Ethan felt a sense of peace he had never known, like he belonged somewhere, not hidden or invisible but seen. Leora broke the silence. "I'm proud of you, Ethan. Pretending or not, you've earned every bit of recognition, and maybe you even impressed me along the way." Ethan's heart skipped a beat. "Impressed you?" "Yes," she said simply, nudging him lightly. "You used your mind, your heart, and your instincts. That's human ingenuity at its best. You didn't just survive the week, you shined." Ethan laughed softly, feeling the warmth in her words. I couldn't have done it without you. You pushed me, encouraged me, helped me see what I could do." Leora leaned back on the bench, eyes twinkling. "Maybe that's what being human is, helping each other shine. And maybe that's what friendship or more is about too." Ethan felt his chest tighten. It wasn't just a joke anymore. Pretending had started as a game, but now, standing here with Leora, he realized he didn't want to pretend anymore. After a while, they stood to leave. The city was quiet now, soft music from distant hover cafes drifting through the streets. "Promise me something," Leora said suddenly, looking at him with a serious but gentle gaze. "Anything," Ethan replied. "Promise me you'll keep trusting yourself. Keep believing in your ideas, your empathy, your creativity. Humans can do amazing things, Ethan, but only if we try." "Don't hide your light again," Ethan nodded. "I promise, I won't forget what I've learned this week. Thanks for showing me." Leora smiled, her hand brushing against his briefly. "Good, and about that kiss debt, don't worry, you've earned it maybe someday. For now, just remember this. Humans shine when they care, create, and trust themselves. That's your real reward." Ethan laughed softly, feeling a mixture of relief, pride, and excitement. Pretending had ended, but the lessons and the connection were real. As they walked back toward their apartments side by side, Ethan realized something wonderful. He didn't need to hide anymore. He could face challenges, think creatively, care for others, and trust himself. He had discovered the true power of being human, and the joy of having someone like Leora by his side. The week of pretending had transformed into a journey of growth, courage, and discovery. And as they parted ways at the building entrance, Ethan smiled. Pretending had ended, but the friendship, the trust, and the admiration were real. Leora waved, her eyes sparkling with playful warmth. "See you tomorrow, genius." Ethan waved back, a soft smile spreading across his face. "See you, Leora." And in that moment, Ethan understood. Humans didn't just survive challenges. They thrived through creativity, empathy, and courage. And sometimes, a little pretend adventure could reveal a person's true brilliance. The city lights of Neo Arden reflected in his eyes, and for the first time, he felt ready for anything.